Hey everybody, Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the Dell Venue 8 7000 series tablet. This 8.4-inch Android tablet is priced at $400 and picked up a Best of Innovation award at CES 2015 for many reasons. Not only is it the thinnest tablet ever made at 6 millimeters thin, but also one of the most impressive when you look at the entire body of work that it represents, both with regard to hardware as well as design, which you're going to see in a moment. Before I get this thing out of the box, let's talk about the actual specifications for a moment. Basically, 8.4-inch display, as I mentioned before. It is an OLED display, which is exciting for me to see. In terms of branding it, they're calling it an Infinity display, I believe. 2560 by 1600 resolution, so QHD. On top of that, you've got 16 gigs of internal storage, an Intel Moorfield Atom processor. It is a quad-core chip, Intel's own integrated graphics solution. This is really, in many ways, a piece of Intel reference hardware because Intel is responsible for everything under the hood, top to bottom. The dual band AC Wi-Fi chipset, the Bluetooth, GPS. I'm not sure about Intel being responsible for that, but almost everything in this tablet is Intel. You do have a micro SD card slot for storage expansion that does support up to 512 gigs if you can afford one of those, and find one at that. But good to see a little bit of future proofing. I mentioned Bluetooth, that is 4.0. No mobile broadband version of this tablet yet, but I do anticipate we'll see another model in the 7000 series that will sport that. And then the really interesting thing introduced here, and it's part of the experience, again, from Intel in cooperation with Dell's manufacturing, is their RealSense camera technology. And we've seen a lot of camera gimmicks over the last several years from different manufacturers, mostly to do with software, also incorporating hardware. But it'll be interesting to see how this pans out because this is, in my opinion, one of the most impressive offerings in that arena. A very good tablet, I would say, for photographers, both because of the display and possibly because of the camera and what it's able to do. Also measurements, some cool stuff, and it's integrated into the OS experience there. Beyond that, you do have a micro USB port for charging, a headphone jack, which you're going to see in a moment, and I believe there is an HDMI out port on this as well. So let me go ahead and get this thing out of the box. And again, essentially a $400 Intel reference design tablet manufactured by Dell, which is realistically one of their, I would say, biggest partners easily when you think about the PC business. Simple packaging here, very, I would say, subdued, and that's a good thing. No reason to get flashy. Better to make the flashy product that's going to actually attract customers. In terms of what else we have in this cardboard paradise, you can see we've got our quick start guide right there, charging cable, again that is a micro USB cable, and the actual power brick. Nothing else in there. Going to move this aside and get to the tablet. We'll see if it powers up, and I'll give you a quick tour. Now, the quad-core chip in here, it is Intel's latest offering in the tablet world. And yes, Intel has been involved with tablets in days past, and by tablets I mean Android tablets. I've reviewed them. None of them have really impressed. This, though, top to bottom, seems to be a killer, and that's why it won a Best of Innovation award at CES. You can see the plastic overlay pointing out right here the power button, and essentially trying to read what that 7S indication is, but the camera is right here, front facing, 2 megapixels. Let me get this thing out of the plastic sleeve. And all aluminum body here. I won't call it unibody because that's not really necessarily accurate, but you do have some plastic here involved, but really nice build quality. You can see the Intel branding there. Now, as far as the cameras I was mentioning before, we have an 8 megapixel camera on the back of the device, the one that's right here, and then two 720p cameras right below it. And that's part of this whole RealSense imaging system that Intel has put together that can basically detect depth and use that in order to enhance, control, alter, whatever you want to allude to, but essentially change your image seamlessly because of the capture technology they've integrated here. And it's also threaded into the experience. I mentioned that earlier, and I'll show that in later updates. But I like the build quality. Very light. I think the tablet's like 8.5 ounces, almost zero bezel on this thing. The speaker down here on what I would call the chin, 2 megapixel front-facing camera for your video conferencing, Skype, or selfies for that matter, on the top of this thing. And boy, it's just incredibly thin. You've got the power button, volume rocker right there. Just so clean. It really is as industrial as a design could possibly be. This is literally a slab. What looks to be a pinhole there for, I don't know if that's for the actual SIM card down the road when they actually introduce a SIM-capable model. It looks like a pin reset or a micro SIM pinhole. And then on the bottom of the tablet, we have our micro USB port right there, which is, of course, USB 2.0. Not sure about charging times or battery life on this. That'll be something I'll be testing out. And then, of course, the 3.5mm dual duty headphone jack as well as microphone jack port. But that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and see if this thing powers on. See that 8.4-inch 2K OLED display. Come on, power on. I think that indication was 7 seconds. I didn't think it would really be a 7-second hold. And as I mentioned, there's a reason this thing won an award. There's a reason you're paying a premium for it. It's been a long time since I've shared a Dell tablet with all of you. Really, the Dell XPS 15 was the last Dell product that I shared. Almost zero battery, by the way, on first boot. But I'm happy to share this one because it is compelling. And for those of you that subscribe, you know that I only look at things, review things that I feel are compelling. It's not about just getting every revision of every, new product that comes down the pipe, because life is frankly too short. But this thing is beautiful in design. Intel's quad-core processor, the Atom, let's hope, is up to snuff. The 16 gigs of internal storage, they could have started at 32, but the industry is what it is right now. Standards still are allowing 16 gigs to be in the mix here in the States, so I don't see any reason why Dell was going to change the game, especially when they were bringing so much in terms of hardware to this tablet. Let me go ahead and connect to a network, and I anticipate things are going to be pretty much stock. It's more about making use of the camera in the actual gallery application, and that's where things could get very interesting. See if we have enough juice just to get through the screen. Yeah, Dell Legal, just what you'd love to see when you're getting through purchasing a tablet. Trying to just skip everything. Oh, come on now. Can't we skip? There you go. And you can see the actual model number there, the 7840. Now there's the display. This is not full brightness. This is auto. Let's go ahead and take that all the way up. Still a dark background. You can see, well, right now it's cleared up. That was because of the Android overlay there, giving you the instructions in KitKat. Things updating already immediately, but I can tell you already the viewing angles on this thing, they're exceptional. I can tell because I'm not getting the view that you are. But the display looks great. Again, 2560 by 1600 res OLED. I really have been waiting to see every manufacturer step up, and that's what this is symbolic of. Not in love with the fact that I'm seeing all these Amazon things get dropped onto the tablet instantly, but I'm also not shocked to see that. And since most people do use Amazon one way or another, I think it's not necessarily a bad thing, but you're seeing all the bloat essentially populating in real time, especially since I didn't even actually integrate an account to this thing. But I imagine this will be pretty opened up and basically developed, hopefully. After all, it is a Dell product. Dell is usually relatively friendly to the dev community, so hopefully we're going to see some interesting things for what is really the most promising Intel Android tablet ever made. And since we have seen in the last year a very big focus on the sub 10-inch tablet, especially since Apple finally succumbed and made something smaller than the actual iPad, this is where the money is at right now. And the premium focus that Dell has brought here, which, surprising from Dell, many would think, is yet another huge leap in the industry over the course of the last year. How well this bottom stereo speaker array is going to perform, I'm not so sure. Some won't love the chin, but quite frankly, for e-reading purposes, that I think Dell also wanted to win the market with this, as well as multimedia, it looks like a really good combo. And again, you can see the viewing angles are fantastic. This is a great looking OLED. Looking forward to putting this thing through the paces, the camera application being the most compelling outside of the design and display. Hopefully battery life is also something to get excited about. Hope you all enjoyed the unboxing. Wasn't as quick as I mentioned, but that tends to be the case with me. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. And of course, as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.